This week on LSMN Overtime, we'll be talking about football and volleyball around the district, Hebron's new golf coach, and LHS's new stadium. Thanks for joining us on this episode of LSMN Overtime. I'm Tori Stevens. Let's get right into some football. Last Friday, Marcus hosted Plano West. Marcus scored 2 quick touchdowns in the first few minutes of the game, securing an early lead against the Wolves. Plano West scored another touchdown at the beginning of the third quarter, but Marcus recovered a fumble and kicked a field goal. In the fourth quarter, the Marauders added to their lead with a touchdown by Dallas Dudley. Final score, Marcus defeated Plano West 37-14. Over at the Colony, the Cougars hosted Frisco Heritage. The Cougars started strong with a touchdown early in the game, but the Colony tacked on 22 points in the first half. This wasn't a game for strong defense as both teams scored at will. The Cougars put up a huge number as runner back Camden Wesley ran for 343 yards and 6 touchdowns. The Colony beat Frisco Heritage 50-36, improving their district record to 3-2. Marcus and the Colony were not the only wins in the district. Lewisville went up against Plano, winning 44-15. Flowermound defeated Plano East 42-35. And Hebron beat Capel and won 34-12. Last Friday, Flowermound went up against Plano East. The Lady Jags came out of the gate strong. The Jags were spike heavy and block heavy. Sophomores Brianna Watson and Catherine Young had a combined 16 kills, and senior Megan Ferris had 4 aces. The Jags won the first set 25-16, second set 25-6, and the third set 25-13, giving them an easy 3-0 victory. However, Tuesday night, Flowermound had a much tougher time. Marcus beat the number 1 Flowermound 3-2. Lewisville lost to Plano West 3-0. Hebron traveled to Plano East and beat them 3-1, and the Colony defeated Sherman in straight sets. Tuesday, the Marcus tennis team took on the district rivals, Capel, for the regional quarterfinals at Flowermound High School. Both these teams have amazing tennis players. The Marcus seniors had a good final year to a 4-year run. Marcus has reached the regional quarterfinals these last 2 years and were undefeated till now. Hebron Golf has new coaches this year. Following a very successful season, Victoria Jones has more on that story.
After winning state championships last year, Hebron's new golf coach has big shoes to fill.
Very, very impressed with the success they had last year, but we're hoping to build on that this year.
Coach Fields is great. He does a lot for our team, and when we're practicing and on the course when we're practicing, he's very hands-on, and he really specializes in each of us.
Our coach knows how we want to be coached and what ways we learn effectively. Also, he knows what spots we prefer to play when we play tournaments, what makes us comfortable.
And then he makes us be very competitive all the time. So it's a really good atmosphere that he creates for us to just thrive and get better.
This year has a change of pace with different coaching styles.
This is my 4th coach in 4 years. And this is for a lot of the people, their 3rd coach in 3 years. So we've all had to adjust each year. This year is especially different because our last coach was a woman and really close to our age. So it was a different interaction. So I think it took us all a minute to readjust and get used to having more of a professional almost interaction. But we've really warmed up to him and he's great. I think all of us are kept on our toes. Nothing is guaranteed from last year, so it's almost like having a new beginning, so we have to prove ourselves again, so it's all good.
We've played against the best in the state and have been fortunate enough to play well and come out on top.
With a new coach, hopefully this year's golf team will keep up their successful win streak. For LSMN Overtime, I'm Victoria Jones.
Last week, the Colony's cross-country team competed in the 5A District 10 meet. The Cougars finished district runner-ups just behind Lovejoy. The Colony had 3 runners finish in the top 10 in the 5,000-meter run, including Devin Judelson, who finished 2nd place and qualified for regionals next week. Meanwhile, the Lady Cougars took home the 4th place trophy. The Colony swimmer Caleb Iqbal is having an impressive season. He is currently the 12th ranked swimmer in the state of Texas. Iqbal recently set a new team record in the 50-meter freestyle with a time of 21.59 seconds. He shattered his previous personal best by over 2 seconds. LHS has a brand new stadium that is finally ready for the crowds. Haley Baker has more on that story.
After over a year of planning and construction, Lewisville High School's new football stadium is finally ready. These upgrades include something for every sport, and they're excited fans.
New training room, we have a new wrestling room, the new press box, we got new baseball locker rooms, and we've got new cross country and track locker rooms, as well as new girls soccer locker rooms.
As with everything at Lewisville, it inspires a feeling of enthusiasm among the students and community.
Well, it's a sense of pride, walking out and just seeing something really nice that's ours in our own backyard.
I think for the entire community, it's a sense of pride to come up to Lewisville High School and see kids working hard, performing, succeeding. It really is special for the entire community, I think.
The new additions to the LHS Stadium are sure to help the athletic program's future.
It's going to help our programs grow. It's going to help our kids, want to be a part of something with some nice facilities.
I think anytime you are a part of something that is significant and you see that you're fighting for your school every time you step out there, I think the positivity of it really has an effect on the students' outlook.
Lewisville High School is proud to unveil their upgraded stadiums to the crowds and the community. Reporting for LSMN Overtime, I'm Haley Baker.
This week on Coach's Corner, Brody Lewis sits down with Hebron's head football coach, Coach Brazel.
I'm here with Hebron head football coach, Coach Brazel. Coach, thank you for joining us today. I just want to start off by congratulating you on your 150th win. That's quite an accomplishment. How does it feel to reach such a milestone, especially knowing most of those wins have come here at Hebron?
Well, actually, all of them have come at Hebron. Probably by looking at my gray beard, it just makes me feel old. It takes a long time to get to that many. But the thing about something like that, there's so many people. I mean, a lot of players, a lot of coaches, a lot of support from the admin, support from the community, the parents. You have to have a lot of things in place to be able to stay one place that long. And we've had, like you said, great support throughout the whole time being here at Hebron for 20 plus years. And, again, it is a fun accomplishment to be able to get to that point. But the main thing is that, to me, it's about Hebron High School getting 150 victories. And a lot of people played a huge part in that. It's obviously not just me that did that, but a lot of people played a huge part in getting to that point.
And now turning to the team in this season, you guys started off 0-3, but you've been red hot as of late, winning 4 in a row. How has your team been able to make such a dramatic shift mid-season like that?
Well, we did have a really tough non-district schedule. We felt like we were going in playing some really, Guyer and Arlington Martin both ranked in the top 20 in the state, really solid football programs. And then Eaton was a school that was undefeated when we played them. I think they only lost one game as well. And and we felt like, going in playing those type of competition, those type of teams, is going to get ourselves ready to make ourselves better. Obviously, we wish we would have fared better. We had the Eaton game, we were up 34-8, and then allowed them to come back and beat us 35-34. That was one you'd like to forget. But at the same time, I think even though it was a miserable night and a miserable experience to go through that, I think our kids it learned a lot about just how you got to continue to prepare, and you got to the process is just knowing that a game's never over. You have to continue to work at halftime to get better and know the adjustments you need to make, and then just come out and play a second half. And so it was that, but I think the kids just working with their coaches and understood that the goal is getting to district, and then how we fare in district is what's going to determine the where we finish up, where we have a chance to go to the playoffs and do the things like that, compete for a district championship. And so all those things were things that we wanted to make sure we accomplished. So going 0-3 really in non-district did nothing to affect the goals that we could still reach. And so we just feel like, those were something that we did just to help us to make us better, because you got to be good people, and we didn't beat them. But I think it helped us to understand you got to really play well if they're going to be good competition. And we're just playing a lot better than we were at that point of the season. We feel like we've found a little bit more about who we are. And but again, it's still a long few weeks coming up in front of us to try to get to the point we want to get to.
And finally, LSMN will be live streaming your game with Marcus this week. And if you beat Marcus Friday night, then that all but guarantees your spot in the playoffs and sets up a great end of season showdown with LHS. How do you keep your team from looking ahead at what might be?
Well, again, like I said earlier, I mean, all we're going to think about right now is getting ready for our next game. And, and the way we get ready for the next game is to make sure we come out and do everything we can in practice to make ourselves better. The thing that we feel like we have and we've been able to really sell our kids upon is the fact that one of the reasons we've gotten better is we've just taken it every one day at a time. We've continued to come out and make sure that we're focusing on, what we have to do to make ourselves better. And regardless of who we're playing, I mean, obviously we're going to have an opponent and we got to prepare for that opponent and what they bring to the table. But it's really about making sure we're doing everything we can to be the very best we can be every time we step on the field. And not really making it so much about our opponent, but making sure we're doing everything we can do, because you can't always control who your opponent is. You can't control those things. You can't control how hard they're going to play, but you can control how you prepare and the things that you do. And so that's how we're going at it, and that's how we're looking forward to it. And so we'll worry about next week when next week gets here. But right now we're just going to be thinking about doing what we can to make ourselves better this week, to prepare to have a good football game this week against Marcus High School.
All right. Well, Coach Brazel, thank you for joining us this week, and we'll see you on the field Friday night.
Thank you. Look forward to it.
This week's spotlight is on Harmony Sample, a volleyball player from Hebron. The senior setter was recently identified by Dallas Morning News and their latest stat article for top 6A volleyball players. 102 games played, Sample has 398 kills, averaging 3.9 a game. She also has 77 blocks in her career and 48 aces. Harmony is having a very impressive high school career and has already committed to playing volleyball at Notre Dame next year. The Hawks are 5-6 in district play thus far. We'll see if Sample can lead them into a playoff berth in the next couple of weeks. For LSMN Overtime, I'm Brendan Selke.
Be sure to check out this week's LSMN Game of the Week, broadcast this Friday, October 22nd, as Hebron football hosts the Marcus Marauders at 7 p.m. You can watch it here at LASD AV Productions. That's all the sports news for this episode. Join us next time for more information on what's happening with sports around the district. I'm Tori Stevens, and thanks for watching this episode of LSMN Overtime.